If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey everybody, we are back for another week in the 2D Film Club podcast. I'm a host, Nate Stevenson, and I got Cody with me as usual. How's it going, Cody?
Good, man. Just pre-ordered my PS5 and Xbox Series X. How about you, man?
How was that?
It's pretty good.
So are you going to be able to get that stuff in a couple of weeks, or is it going to take like 5 months?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I thought you pre-ordered it, so you must have a time.
I did, but they come out in like November or something. I don't even know what date they come out.
I know the Xbox.
I pre-ordered.
It comes November. Are you looking up right now to check your dates?
Yeah, man. Gotta know when they're coming in.
No, you gotta get that Nintendo Switch 64.
Do you think that they'll make a pro version of the Switch?
Yeah,
soon?
Probably. I feel like they've been like talking about it for like the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of rumors, and it seems like it's gonna happen. That'd be kind of cool.
I just gotta say, little side note, we did have a lot of traction with our conversation when we were talking about pizza bagels and pizza rolls.
Oh yeah.
Just a lot of people they have conflicted feelings, so
yeah.
Maybe we need to do a movie podcast and a pizza podcast. Figure it out. I think the people are wanting to know.
I think so.
Well, what you been up to this week? But watching movies and such? You got any good ones that you watched?
Yeah. I've watched some movies and things. There's been a few new movies that have come out like on streaming services, which I know you've seen.
Yes, sir.
Some of those too. Like The Devil All the Time.
Mm-hmm.
We both watched on Netflix. That was pretty interesting.
And then HBO Max had Unpregnant.
Yeah. How was that? I didn't get a chance to watch that yet.
I don't know, like when I first started watching it, like I figured the movie was gonna be like an hour and 20, maybe an hour and a half kind of length. Mm-hmm. But it was like an hour and 45 minutes. And for like a type of movie like this, there's no way that it should be over an hour and a half. And so when I got to the first hour, I was like, okay, cool. Like I got like 20, 30 minutes left. The movie's okay so far. Like nothing like, dramatic or new, I would say. But it was enjoyable. And then I saw that I have 40 minutes left, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like, that's way too long. I mean, it had the one girl, she was in Euphoria. I don't know if you've watched that show on HBO.
I started it, but I think I only watched like the first 2 episodes or something.
But it had one of the characters in it, and then the other one, the only movie that I know her from was Split. So that's who was in the movie. But I mean, it was fine. I mean, it's just about a girl that gets pregnant, and she wants to get an abortion because she's going to Brown University. And she's like in a really Christian family, so she can't be pregnant. And she like basically can't get an abortion in Missouri. So then the nearest place that she can go that accepts like her age limit, where she doesn't have to have approval from her family, is going all the way to New Mexico. So she takes like a road trip. And so, I don't know. And like, there's one guy that was in the movie that I thought was kind of funny because I feel like I haven't seen him forever in movies. And he was in Rat Race.
Oh.
It was, oh, what's his name? No, it's not. Holy. Trying to find, where the hell is he? Oh, it's Breckin Meyer. He was in Unpregnant. And I feel like I haven't seen him forever, like in something. Yeah, the last
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Remember he was in in the Garfield
Garfield
movie?
in 2006, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's been in like some other movies,
It's a
but
good
nothing
movie.
really. So, so yeah, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I gave it 3 stars just because I think it was too long of a movie, but besides that, it did have some funny moments. So,
Pretty decent.
yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh yeah, for sure. What did you
That's
think of
cool.
Devil All the Time, though?
I liked it. I didn't. It for me. This movie definitely seemed like. I mean, it's very bleak, and um, it's kind of like that. I don't know, that like Southern Gothic uh, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you? What's that show? True Detective on
Yeah, I've
HBO.
seen a little bit of it. Yeah.
You say no? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
seen
you
a little
did.
bit of it.
It kind of reminds me of that, and I like. Yeah, I kind of like. I mean, I like movies like this, and I feel like this is the kind of movie that I just feel like it's my kind of movie. But for some reason, I feel like it was good, but just didn't really connect with me the way I wanted it to. But I did enjoy it. I thought a lot of the performances were good, and it was well made. The story is interesting and everything, but there's some things that kind of like I felt like Tom Holland was really
Yeah,
good in
I
it. I
really
really
was
liked Tom
impressed with him
Holland.
in this movie.
I think a lot of the acting is good, but some of the actors are just distracting. Like Bill Skarsgård was really distracting for me. Like I just couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't get past his
Yeah.
accent. And same kind of with Robert
Hmm.
Pattinson. His voice is just distracting. But I thought he was good. I mean, I love Robert Pattinson. I think he did a good job. Just really kind of weird. Uh, but I did really like. I think probably the standout performance for me in this movie was Harry Melling, the crazy guy with the one with the ears and he had the spiders on
Oh
his
yeah,
face and
dude.
everything. He was so weird, and I thought that he did a really good job. He's not in it that much, but the scenes that he does have in the movie, I thought he was really
Yeah,
good.
man. You
Um,
know, he was in what, that other Netflix movie.
Old
Yeah.
Guard,
And so he definitely
yeah,
did a lot better in this one. I think he fits like these kind of movies, so I was really impressed with him in it. Um, that whole
yeah,
scene, that was a good start to the movie. I was like, what the hell what's gonna happen?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's pretty crazy.
and just that whole scene when he's like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just,
Yeah, he's pretty crazy. He does a good job. He was also in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs in one of the segments in that movie, and I thought that he was good in that too. Um, I really like
just
that
the
movie.
old guard was kind of a mess.
Um, yeah, I'm not really. I honestly, I completely have. I forgot pretty much everything about the Old
Hey,
Guard.
that's
Like I don't
okay.
really remember anything.
I'm right there with you.
It's just one of those movies. Um, and then Sebastian Stan I liked, and Jason Clarke was good
Hmm.
too. And it has a good cast. Um, but yeah, it was good, and I feel like I was interested in the beginning. I feel like in the middle of the movie, I don't know. I didn't care about some of the things that were going on with certain
Yeah, I
characters.
felt the same way.
Um, and but by the end of it, I was interested in what was happening in the end with Tom Holland. It kind of like brought me back in, and I was actually interested in where it was going and how it was going to end. And I think Tom Holland was a big part of that. I thought that he did a really good job.
Oh
It
yeah,
was cool seeing him do something just so different, and you could see that he's a good actor. I'm excited to see him do
no,
other
same.
stuff.
Especially like the type of movie
Um,
that this was and everything, completely different from
yeah.
previous roles. I was glad to see what he would be able to do, and it's good to see the range that he has. So
Yeah, and this movie, it's one of those movies. It's definitely not for
yeah,
everyone. It's super bleak and pretty dark. It's not like the happiest happiest
yeah,
movie to
especially
watch.
right away from the
Um,
beginning, kind of sets
yeah.
the tune, the mood for it. So
hmm
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, but
No, go ahead.
sorry, what? No, I was just gonna say, but it's not. I didn't love it, but I did really like a lot of things about it, and I think it is worth watching. I would recommend it if you are into movies like that. But if you don't like super bleak movies, then maybe pass on it. But it is interesting seeing some of these actors and seeing Robert Pattinson and freaking Tom Holland and Bucky on a movie together.
So what would you give a ranking for this movie?
I give it a 3.5. Yeah, I think it'd probably stay at like a 3.5.
That's what I
I
gave
feel
it
like
to.
yeah, um, yeah, something like that. 3.5. It's good. It's worth watching, but not not the not the greatest. But there's good stuff in it.
I don't know what it is. Like, what's your feeling like on movies where you lose interest like halfway through and then it kind of picks back up and towards the end? Like, I feel like some movies like kind of can salvage it where you still can maybe give it like a decent rating.
hmm
But for this movie, do you think like that middle area was just too much and like that's why you kept it at 3.5?
No, I don't think it was too much. I just think that I think maybe it was too much with too many
Yeah,
characters, kind
I can
of.
see that.
Like I feel like there's a lot going on with a lot of characters, and I don't really care. I just didn't care enough about all of them. Um, and I think that there's some things that are interesting about all these little kind of small little storylines and how they come together and everything. It's interesting, and I don't think it's not like the movie gets
Yeah.
bad or anything in the middle. I just was kind of losing interest, but I feel like it still kept me on the hook enough that I cared. As soon as it started getting better, I was in it, because I think sometimes like when a movie starts okay and then it just starts going downhill, and if I get lost in the middle, then there's a lot of movies I feel like it's impossible to even salvage it at the end,
So
like you
kind
were
of like
saying.
Dunkirk.
Yeah. Wait.
Wait a second.
No, not like that. Wait a second. What are you
I'm just
talking
kidding.
about?
Gotcha.
We got a Dunkirk hater in the chat.
Uh-oh. I'm about to get booted from this podcast, huh? No, but I
Yeah.
did enjoy it. Like, I really was impressed with Tom Holland, and I did like Sebastian, his role. I mean, I didn't mind Skarsgård, like, in the beginning of it, just, like, his grittiness kind of with the whole aspect of coming close to God and all the praying that he was doing and how forceful he was for
Yeah.
it. And so I like that beginning
Yeah.
thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where maybe, at least for me, sometimes like I can't really. I'm so kind of engraved with him being Pennywise that sometimes like it's hard for me to like picture him like outside that role. I mean,
Yeah.
he still did like a good job, but like I'm like having those thoughts like during the movie, like, oh, Pennywise. And
Mhm.
so sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
that can kind of hurt the performance just a little bit. I mean, not in a bad way, but just it's interesting. So,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
so
But yeah, it's a good Netflix
it
movie
is,
though.
yeah, one of their
Definitely.
better ones.
I mean, yeah. Yeah,
So
I
all
liked
like
it.
out of all like
But
the
yeah, so
Netflix movies that have like come out so far this year, which one has been your favorite?
well, for sure, I'm thinking of Ending
Yeah.
Things is my favorite. And then I don't even. I'd have to look. I don't even
I
remember
need to
what
watch
else
Defy
has come
Blood
out. But
still, but I know that probably would be up
oh
there.
yeah, yeah, The Five Bloods is probably my second favorite, and then but I would imagine I think The Devil All the Time would be third, unless I'm forgetting about
Not the
something.
Old
But
Guard.
no, not
Wait,
the Old Guard.
did Six
Sorry,
Underground come out this year?
I feel like that was last year, but I
Yeah, it
really
was
don't
last year.
even know. I never saw it.
Yeah, it came out right before the end of the year. You're totally missing out, man. It's
Nice.
peak performance, just amazing. Just
Okay,
kidding.
I'll check it out. Psych. Um, but yeah. What else did we watch? We both watched The Social Dilemma or
Yeah,
whatever. Is that what it's called?
that was an interesting movie to watch. I kind of just I saw
Yeah.
someone tweet about it, and then when I saw it on Netflix, I was like, oh, I want to see what this is about. And crazy, man, mind blowing.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good
And I just got
documentary.
done listening
And
to
I
like
like how
Snowden,
they.
like on Joe Rogan's podcast too. So it's just
Yeah,
coming
that was
all.
a good. That was a good
It's like a
episode.
second time on.
I think it's his
Yeah.
second. Well, maybe it's third. I don't know. But he was on like a year ago, and then
It just
it's
makes
this
me
past
laugh
week
when I
or
watch
whatever.
stuff like this, and then you see the people getting so like butthurt about like TikTok being like a Chinese company taking our data and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, like here in the US, they're doing the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook with Instagram and Twitter and all these Google, all these other places, they're doing exactly the same thing. I don't know. It just makes me think of that one meme where people are talking about how, they want their things American made, like their clothes and stuff. And it's like, I want my data to be
Mm,
American stolen. Like, I don't want it to be anything else. So I just think it's
yeah.
funny. What did you think about it?
It was good. But it was good. I liked it. I liked the. I enjoyed the. What's the name of the actor that's in it? I don't even. Anyway, I like the story. Like, it's mostly a documentary, but there's something else going on as well. It's like a fictional um, thing with this character, and with his phone and what's going on with him. I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of helped keep me engaged
They've
with it.
they've done something like that before on Netflix. It's like about heavy. It's like it came out I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where it's like a CIA agent that like died. Did you ever hear about that one? Like and like
I
because they were
don't.
like experimenting like with LSD like during that time, and so they ruled it as a suicide. But a lot of people think that this CIA agent was like murdered or whatever because he was gonna leak documents talking about how the CIA was testing this kind of stuff for like mind control or whatever. But they kind of did it similar with Social Dilemma
Oh,
where they had
yeah.
actors playing it like a documentary, but like you have people like talking about it. So, but I
Mm,
did like Gazando in it. So
yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good documentary. It's I feel like most of it's a lot of stuff that I feel like it pretty much for me watching it, I think I was kind of getting bored of it because almost everything that's in the documentary, I mean, it's very interesting, but I've already read or
mhm.
I've seen things on pretty much everything that's said in it, and I think that's the only thing that
Yeah,
kind of um like I don't know, I just kind of lost interest in the middle of it because like okay, I know all of this. Like I don't know if I've just listened. I don't know if I've just read a lot on on this or whatever. But it is interesting. It is crazy, and I definitely like afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just not use my phone. Put it down.
right.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't really use like social media or that much. I mean, I go on Twitter all the time, but other than that, I feel like I don't use my phone as much as I used to.
So what would you give it as a rating then?
Like a 3 out of 5,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, it's good.
Did you have a chance to go to like any movies in a movie theater this week, or do you have any plans to go to one?
No, well, I'm planning this coming weekend. I'm planning on going to see that one movie. I already forgot what it's called. The one that you saw. What's it called? I already forgot.
Kajillionaire? Is that what you're talking about?
Kajillionaire. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see.
Yeah, I saw that at
Kajillionaire.
Sundance, and it was an interesting experience. It's kind
Yeah.
of a bummer because I lived, out there for like 5 years, and I only went to Sundance once. Like my last year, I wish I would have gone to it more, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I saw it. It
Yeah, I
was
would
it
like
was
to go.
good. I mean, I definitely want to see it again because like when you were talking
Mhm.
about how you were going to see Kajillionaire, I was able to see a theater by me that's actually playing it this weekend, so I'm probably going to see it as well. Because
Nice.
I do want to
Cool.
see it again, like in an actual theater, and kind of like,
Mhm.
because I think the whole experience of me being at Sundance may be attributed to my ranking that I gave it, and so I want to see it again just to maybe see if I still enjoy it as much or if I would lower it a little bit. So
Mhm. Nice.
I think you'll
Cool.
like
Yeah,
it.
that'd be cool if you could see it again. Yeah, it looks good. I think I'll like it too. I'm excited to watch it.
So yeah, if you have a theater near you, try to look it up and see if there's some Kajillionaire. Go see it.
It's so funny because you know, uh, Tenet's not doing so great in
Yeah.
theaters because of the circumstances. And you were saying, what's that movie? The one that you wanted to watch
Greenland.
with Gerard
Greenland.
Butler, Greenland. They said that it's not going to come out this month how it was supposed to, and they didn't even. I don't think they even said like any new date. They just delayed it indefinitely. So it's kind of a bummer. And then I saw Disney tweeted, or they put out. Oh, at least I saw it on Twitter that they're going to be playing Empire Strikes Back starting September 25th for the 40th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And it's just really funny seeing all the responses are all people like, this is so irresponsible. How are you doing this, Disney? You shouldn't be. Blah blah blah. I just think
and that's on Twitter.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But every time I've seen like tweets or posts on or whatever, it might be on Facebook or something. But whenever I see something about a new movie coming out in theaters, or even with Tenet, I see so many people in the replies or comment section like, "This is so irresponsible. I can't believe that you would do this. Blah blah blah. It's unsafe." And I just think it's interesting how people are making such a big deal.
Yeah, they said that Tenet only earned 4.7 million with 2,930 locations.
That's crazy.
I mean, New Mutants earned 1.6. That's crazy. So
yeah,
the fact that New Mutants is like earning that much next to a Christopher Nolan movie is just baffling to me. Yeah, ABC just released this article like 50 minutes ago, just basically saying outlook not improving for beleaguered U.S. movie theaters. They're saying that 3/4 of the country's movie theaters are open, but people aren't going back. So, yeah. I mean, to me, like I feel completely fine going to a theater because they're taking the precautions. You don't have you have 2 seats maybe open to the left or right of you. Maybe the row in front of you and behind you could be closed off. So you're not really going to be by anybody. And when I saw
and there's not that many people in the theater either. Like there's barely anyone to begin with, and then you're super. At least in my experience, I've been really spaced out from people completely. Like there's no one even close. So I feel fine going, but I do think if for people who don't feel comfortable going, that's fine. Don't go. But I just think it's funny how people are
See,
freaking
the
out.
question that I have is, do you think the people that are freaking out the most, they're just the traditional people that go to a movie theater and buy their ticket and then go? Or do you think these are the people that just buy it on the app? Because I feel like if you're buying a ticket on the app, like
Oh,
mobile wise, you're going to be able to like pick your seats and see how many people are in the theater, so then you can not go. But I'm curious if
I
majority of the people.
I think most of the people that are complaining about it are probably people that don't really even go to the
Yeah,
movies. To
no,
be
I
honest,
agree.
I think it's mostly people who don't even go to the movies, and they're just mad that other people are going to the movies, and they just think that everyone's just spread, just going to the theater to start spreading some Rona.
Rona
But
party.
it's not. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel safe,
But yeah,
but if some people are uncomfortable with it, then, you know.
yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, I hope at some point theaters, I don't know, start doing better because I want to see more movies, and it's not looking so great for the rest
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
year.
Wonder Woman's delayed until the end of December now. You were talking about
Yeah,
how Dune probably will be delayed.
yeah. I don't think there's any chance that Dune will be released this year.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, and I hope that more, maybe now that theaters are open, and I think some of um, these companies will see like how not even Tenet can really be that successful in this time going with theaters open, and maybe more companies will start just releasing things on VOD with some things. I mean, obviously things like Dune or Wonder Woman and some of these big like blockbuster hits, like they're gonna wait to release them in theaters for sure. Uh, but I think there's a lot of movies that I think would benefit from just releasing on VOD
Oh,
and maybe
yeah.
release them in theaters at the same time, because then you could still release them in theaters and then also on VOD.
Well, and I think it's just a lose-lose situation for Disney. I mean, you were just talking about how they're getting all this hate for having Star Wars go in theaters for the 40th anniversary. And it just
Yeah.
has me thinking that, maybe Tenet's not doing so good just because, it's one of those movies that a lot of people might be excited about, but not everybody will probably go to it. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious, maybe if Disney would have had Mulan like go to it, maybe that could have been like the jump start to like a lot more movies feeling comfortable keeping the release date. But Disney probably was like, no, like we don't want that frustration and hatred being spewed at us, so maybe that's why they just stuck with the VOD. But I'm wondering if they would have just stuck with it being in theaters, that a lot more movies would have just stayed, which would have been nice. Because then I think Tenet probably would have been a lot better. Or do you think just people wouldn't have gone anyways?
I
Because I think if
kind of think it
Mulan
would
like
be the
went in
same.
theaters and then you had Tenet and then like you had Greenland. I mean, not that it's a big movie, but you had that, and then if you stuck to like the normal schedule.
Yeah, I think maybe it would help a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
and I guess school just
I mean,
started as well, so you probably have a lot of
yeah,
people that are busy. So
yeah,
I feel like this time frame, like September until like November, is kind of a dull area for movies, anyways.
yeah,
So that's probably a factor too with schools starting. So parents are probably freaking out about their kids or something. So I don't know.
yeah.
It's just a
It's just
bummer.
weird. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a weird time, but whatever. Hopefully things get better, and hopefully next year is a lot better, and all these movies that are getting delayed, hopefully they all come out next year, and next year will be. I'm hoping next year will be great for movies.
I do have to say the
We'll
nice
see.
thing though is being able to have like two empty spaces, the left and right side of you. So I
Yeah,
hope that
it
stays.
is. It is. That is
Because then you
nice.
don't have
I do
anybody
like
sitting
that.
next to you. So
Yeah, yeah, that is super nice.
especially like in stadium seating, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, get a little too close, a
right.
little too close to some people. Yeah, but
Well, was there any
yeah,
other
good
movies that you
times.
watched?
Yeah, I feel like there's some. Is there anything else that we both watched or no?
I don't think so.
We talked about everything, right? There's something else. Oh, I watched the new Babysitter movie,
Oh, you
Babysitter
did? How was that?
Killer Queen. I liked it. I liked the first one. Neither of them are like really.
Oh,
They're not really good movies, but they're enjoyable. They're just really silly, and this one is just kind of goes all in on the goofiness, and I enjoyed it. It's not great. I gave it like I think a 2.5 out of 5 stars. There's some funny parts, and there's a lot of kind of ridiculous like kills and gore and stuff. And
did Bella Thorne talk about her OnlyFans in the movie?
no, no, she didn't. But she does say some funny things in the movie.
That's funny. I do remember I did watch a movie at the beginning of the week, and I can't believe I forgot about it because it was so good.
What?
Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
I watched Whiplash
That's
at the
right.
beginning of the week.
Finally.
I know. It was really good.
I'm so glad you watched it. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I really was impressed with everybody's performance in it, and it's a shame that, you know, like I said, like some movies can kind of just hurt some people. Good old Miles Teller, you know, in his beautiful role in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. He I feel like he hasn't really been. He was in a bunch of stuff like around 2013 to 14.
What's all these like teenage movies?
Yeah, like The Spectacular Now, which I enjoyed that.
Divergent.
He was in War Dogs.
Insurgent.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, a lot of these movies aren't great, but yeah, I mean, I really liked him in this movie, and he hasn't really been getting.
He is going to be in Top Gun.
Like. Oh, nice, very nice. But did you like did you like J.K. Simmons?
No, yeah, dude, he was so good. I can't imagine having like he reminded me like, I mean, not as vocal as and insulting, but he reminded me of like my wrestling coach like in high school. Just like that brutal of a person where he just seems like he doesn't give a shit about you kind of thing. And so like that's what I was getting from it. But I don't know, him and Whiplash, you know, with Miles, it's either that or Footloose, like one of those roles. I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but I did enjoy it. It was good.
Yeah. And
I'm glad that I finally watched it.
Great. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best movies of that year in 2014. It's one of the best. I love it. It has such a great ending too.
Oh yeah.
It's just a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
It's on Tubi.
Well, isn't it? Oh, it's on Tubi. Watch it on Tubi.
Tubi.
Hey, on Tubi, I know there's ads like in the beginning of it. Does it play ads in the middle of the movie too? Okay.
I mean, it's like
I can't remember.
A movie like on the TV, but it's not like 10 minutes of ads or like commercials. It's just like a minute or two. So
yeah, because I think I can't remember if I watched something on Tubi recently, but or it was one of those platforms where there's ads that play, and it wasn't too bad. Like
we had something like that with The Hunt.
Oh yeah. We watched that on one of those things like IMDb TV or something. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, obviously it's not.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Not my favorite, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, good stuff. Well, other than that, there was one movie I watched today. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because I loved it. It's called The Brood. It's one of David Cronenberg's earlier films from 1979. It's a horror movie, and it's just a really interesting movie, and I really didn't know anything about it. And it's about this family where the wife is like going through some sort of therapy with the psychologist who's played by, I can't remember his name, but he's so great. Oliver Reed. He's so funny in it.
Were there movies is Oliver?
Uh, he's in The Gladiator. Uh, he's in a lot of
Oh,
things,
okay.
but I know he's in that one Terry Gilliam movie, the Baron Munchausen one. But yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He's really funny in this movie. His psychologist character is interesting, but there's something going on with this mom. You don't really know exactly, but it's something. She's weird, and they have this daughter, and it's kind of like a creature horror film, and these creatures are like little. They're like these little deformed children that go around beating people with hammers.
Oh shit.
It's so it's it's a lot, but it's really good. Um, it's really it's awesome. It has a really great ending,
1979.
and the interesting thing about it, I don't want to talk too much about what happens in the movie, but I learned that this movie was a really personal film for David Cronenberg. He based it on his own life, where he was having to deal with, having to like share custody of his daughter with his wife, and so with his ex-wife or whatever. And it's really interesting to see how even like with horror movies can be something so personal, even though it's something so like this movie's so insane, like with with these little deformed freaking creatures. But it's something that's really personal to David Cronenberg and something that he was going through, and I thought that was really just interesting. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's on, I think it's on HBO Max and Criterion Channel. It's worth watching. I'm trying to get a jump start.
Halloween.
Some Halloween.
Same, man. That's why I watched. That's why I watched House today.
Oh yeah, did you
yes,
like
I
it?
did. It was definitely the way that they filmed it. Like, was really interesting. You know, just like with the constant like slow motion or like the boomerang like effect or something like that. It's almost like back in 1977, like they had, maybe that's where Instagram got some of its ideas from, watching this movie or something.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a really interesting movie, and for 1977, that's exactly what I can expect from it. But I don't know.
1977 had some of the best movies. 1977 had Suspiria, Eraserhead, House. I think that Three Women came out that year. What else? Star Wars came out in 77. Annie Hall. I feel like there's one other like kind of crazy.
The Hills Have Eyes. The Hobbit, the cartoon one.
Oh, nice.
The Deep.
Yeah, 77 was a good year.
Godfather.
For batshit kind of crazy movies. House is such a crazy movie. I love it. I love the effects. I love just the insanity of it, and it's just a fun movie.
Yeah, I have no clue how to describe it. It's just
it exactly. It's one of those movies that you really can't describe. No. You just kind of gotta watch it and experience it for yourself, because it is like from another planet. It's great. So yeah, watch House. But yeah, I'm excited to watch some of these horror movies, and we'll be talking about them. I think for the coming weeks we'll talk about what we're watching, and our picks are gonna be some horror films, so it's gonna be fun.
Yes, sir. Super excited. Start that next week.
Yeah. Well, should we get into the movies that we picked for this week?
Yes, let's talk about Battle Royale.
Yeah. So I picked Battle Royale. Battle Royale is one of those movies that I just love to share with people. It's kind of like House, where it's like something so unique and kind of crazy, and it's just fun to watch with people and to show your friends. And I feel like I've seen this movie so many times because I've just always show it to people. So I was really excited to show it to you because I figured you'd like it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's basically Hunger Games. Set in Japan, and it's based off of a novel of the same name. Came out in 2000. And it's about this class of students who, they think that they're going on a field trip, and then next thing they wake up in this classroom and they have these necklaces on, and their old teacher, who's not their current teacher, but he's there, and there's these military dudes that are there too, and there's a TV, and then they explain to them what's going on. And the thing that I thought was interesting watching it this time, like in the beginning of the movie, remember how it showed like the winner of a battle royale or whatever, that girl with she's like smiling and has blood on her face, and there's like a whole film crew like recording and stuff, and it makes it seem like this is on live TV or something. But then somehow I just the thing that bothered me this time, I was like, wait, how do these kids not know about this? Like,
that's exactly what I was
thinking
when I was watching it. I'm like, why are they getting like a history lesson about this thing when they're literally filming it before that?
I just thought that was kind of interesting. And I don't know, maybe it's different in the book or something, but yeah, I thought that was just interesting that they didn't know. But I was like, okay, whatever. But because it seems like this is something that everyone knows about and they watch on TV or whatever. I mean, just based on that kind of opening and with that girl. But yeah, so they're in this classroom and the teacher explains to them what's going on. There's like a training video that kind of, with this like really high energy girl who's explaining that to them, what they're gonna do, and how they have all of them have like a supply bag, and everyone's gonna get a random weapon. It could be a freaking like a pot lid or an Uzi, it could be anything. And yeah, so then all these kids, and how many are 40, there?
40, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be even a little bit more, under 40 something, I think. Anyway, but there's a lot of students, and then they grab their stuff. They call them like one by one, and they just go out, and they're on this island that's deserted, and there's some buildings and things like that, but they just kind of go out, and they have, what is it, like 2 days or something, or
it's 3 days? Yeah,
they have 3 days, and if there's not a winner by then, like if there has to be one person surviving, or else everyone dies because the necklaces that they wear around their neck just explode. And yeah, so I mean that's basically what the movie's about. But yeah, what did you think of it?
I don't know. It just, you have like this, for the time that it came out, it's kind of interesting to see how like other movies didn't really kind of venture off and like do something like this, or maybe they haven't. I just think it's funny when I look at when this movie came out, and it came out in 2000. And then you know, right now, like with video games and stuff like that, Battle Royale is like super big, where, bunch of people go on an island, and then, you have winner at the end, whoever there's one person standing is the winner. I mean, yeah, you have Hunger Games, but it's not really at all like a Battle Royale in a sense. So I just think like the whole time I was watching this movie, I'm like, it's just interesting that this movie came out so long ago. Not a lot of people have tried to make something like this. So maybe they didn't think there was a need for it, but I don't know. They could probably make a movie now, and I think people would go and watch it just because of the video game influence. But besides that, I mean, I liked, the performances, and I enjoyed like the flashbacks that they had where the kids were like, rethinking, like reimagining like their old times that they had when they were all in school together. And I did like
playing basketball in slow-mo.
Yeah, and I mean, I did like that because it's just like one of these situations where they get stuck on the island, they're forced to kill each other, but every flashback was everybody happy, cheering for one another, being super close and excited to be in school. And then now a flip of a switch, they're all like, "Yeah, I gotta murder you," kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
the one scene that I thought kind of was like the craziest was when they're, what's his face? Is it Noriko Nakawaga?
Oh,
When
uh-huh.
he gets injured, like running away from like that crazy guy. Uh, Not Mitsuko, but I think it's Kazu, like the guy that volunteered. When he was the crazy guy that volunteered was chasing Noriko. I thought it was the scene where he is wounded and he's getting healed by all those girls in the lighthouse, and then one of the girls like doesn't trust him, so she like poisons his food, and then the girl eats it, and then they're all like not trusting each other, and then they end up like killing each other. And like that
Yes.
whole scene is just, it's crazy, like how in a turn of events it just
Uh-huh.
basically talks about exactly what that movie is essentially about. And
Mm-hmm.
these kind of movies are so interesting because I feel like there are movies about that where like people are put in a room and you're forced to do something, or like you have to kill someone in order to get freed or whatever. And though that psychological aspect of it is just really interesting to see. So
Yeah. I love that scene. That's one of my favorite favorite scenes in the movie. It's so like it's such a Tarantino-esque kind of scene, I feel like, which is it's just so crazy, and the tension in the room, and that the quiet girl is the one that poisoned this food, and even just when the girl eats it and she starts like spitting out blood like
yeah,
crazy, and then just everyone goes insane. Like the one girl grabs the Uzi and she's like, "Who did it?" Like just yelling at each other, and they don't know who to trust and who would poison this food because she knew it had to be one of
when I
them.
like those kind of
Um,
scenes like in like a movie too, because as an audience member you're the one that's like, I saw it, I saw it, I saw it, but like
yeah.
the actual characters, they don't know, so it kind of has you feel like you're involved in the situation in a sense, like by
Hmm.
watching this film. So
Yeah, and yeah, you know who did it and everything, and she the whole time she's just like in the back in the corner and she's quiet and no one even like suspects her. Like she's like the least like there's no way it was her. And even at the end when the one girl with like the Uzi is about to die, she's like, I know it's not you. Like you're good or whatever she said. She just let her be. But
yeah,
then she couldn't even live with it after that because she's like, oh my gosh, like I killed everyone basically. And then she goes up and she tells uh, Nanahara that she's like, I forgot how much I like them. And then she goes up to the top of the lighthouse and jumps off and kills
yeah,
herself.
dude.
So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that scene was really
Uh,
good in the movie. So, and then you had
yeah, there's a
guys
lot of
hacking and everything like that. That was kind of funny.
mm, yeah, and I really like I like the flashbacks too, and that you kind of get to see them and how they are like on the bus and when they're in school and there's like just there's regular students, and then you get these flashbacks. You kind of get an idea of like the relationships that they had with each other, and um, and then you see them killing each other and everything. And there's that one scene kind of towards the end where that girl's kind of hiding, and I don't remember. There's so many characters in this movie. I'm not even
Oh yeah, I know.
gonna try to remember who's who. But there's one of the girls who's hiding, and there's a guy that's like looking around, and she just kind of panics and shoots
Yeah,
him. And then he tells her that he's always loved her, and she's like, "What?" Like, "Oh my gosh, like you've never even talked to me." And there's a lot of confessing of love to each other in this movie.
especially
There's a
for
few
ninth
other,
graders.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of funny seeing some of these
So they don't know
kids that are
about the
like,
Battle
oh, I
Royale,
really.
even though it's filmed and an act was passed. And then they
Mhm.
also, as ninth graders, are in love with each other. It's like, okay, well, we'll just go with it, I guess. So
Yeah.
I did like the end though. I thought it was unique how they did that. I mean, I had my suspicion of like it didn't actually happen,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole scene where like he gets shot and then he gets a phone call and he just stands up and then he just
Oh
sits
yeah, the
down,
teacher.
yeah, and then he just talks like on the phone and then he like just eats a cookie and then he dies or whatever. I'm
Yes.
like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I love
Th-
I love his character. I have no idea what's going on with him, and especially his relationship with the main girl, and like that one flashback or whatever that is where they're eating popsicles, those orange popsicles. I was like, I'm so confused, but I love
Or
it.
even like in the beginning of the movie where the girl's like whispering and he just chucks a knife across the room. It's like,
Oh
what the
yeah,
hell?
I said no whispering. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kills her, and then what's Nanahara's friend
Yeah,
or
his like
whatever.
best friend, Shayu.
No, I think you got it mixed up. Shoyu Nanahara is the main character. Noriko Nakagawa is his friend, the one that dies.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but he, but
There's
he's
so
the
many
one that
characters.
cut. Yeah, there's so many, and they have there's some hard names in here too, but but then the teacher demonstrates how these necklaces work, and he um, blows it up basically. And there's like it's ticking, like there's a timer, and it's kind of just crazy seeing him run around like help
Yeah,
me,
and everybody's
and
like, get
everyone's
away
just
from me.
throwing him like get off of me, bro. I'm not trying to die too. So yeah, it starts off real crazy.
And I did like that
Um,
one girl, Mitsuko or whatever, that was just basically like the only one that kept like going one by one, like hunting people down. You
mm-hmm.
know, just like that female-esque of it. Just she was like the one that people
Yes.
were fearing the most. So,
Yeah, and she's is
and I like the flashback. Well, I mean, it's sad, but the flashback with her.
yeah, it's so sad
Yeah.
and dark. It's like, but I like that too because you're like,
Yeah, that
oh,
so it
okay.
makes sense why she kind of like
You
stood
like,
out a little bit and kind of was a
yeah.
loner. Super sad.
You're like, okay, I get it. Um, but yeah, she's pretty crazy.
No, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Um, but it was funny though when I first started watching it. Like I texted you about it how it had dubbed, and I'm like,
Oh,
is this supposed to happen? So then, because I was watching on Tubi TV or whatever, and then I ended up renting it anyways because the subtitles were more in sync with the actual
uh,
language that they were speaking. The dubs were just, it was off, and I wasn't gonna watch that. It was just too distracting with the subtitles. So,
yeah, the
and
yeah,
it sounded
the
too
dub is
anime as
dub is
well.
funny.
It sounded too anime, like really
Yeah,
bad dub. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna.
yeah, the dub is not good. I've seen it with the dub, and I've seen it with subtitles, and the dub is just it's pretty
It's
bad.
distracting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. So
Yeah, I did too. I love this movie. I think my personal enjoyment of this movie is like five
yeah,
stars because I've seen it so many times. I love it. It's insane, and it has a lot of cool, like there's a lot of fun gore and kills, and it's definitely violent.
oh yeah.
And
Have you seen the
but yeah,
second
I'd
one?
give it. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. The second one is not as good, but it is interesting. I do like. I like what they did, like for a sequel. I haven't seen it in so long, but I'm just looking at the synopsis real quick. So it takes place 3 years after uh, this battle royale, and in this one, um, they take a class of students and they send. Oh yeah. So they send them to an island. That's right. Okay. So in this one, it's 3 years later, and Nanahara and the girl, whatever her name is, I can't remember. They go to this island and they have like this, like they're just kind of badass. I don't even remember what they're doing, but they have like this whole like faction of of I think they're all like kids. I think they're all young. I don't know. Like a rebellion kind of. And so in this one now, they take classes of students and then they send them to the island to kill Nanahara because he's a terrorist, and so they want him to to be killed. So it's an interesting premise in seeing.
But not as good as the first one.
No, it's not even. I don't think it's even really close to as good. But
even hear about these movies if it's like one of your favorites.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So, I don't remember exactly how I heard about it, but I think. Okay, so this movie's kind of infamous for being like, everyone's always said it was banned in the United States, but I don't think it wasn't actually banned. But that's just kind of the narrative that went around about the movie because of, how graphic and violent the movie is. But everyone was always like, "Oh yeah, Battle Royale is this banned movie. Like I've seen it, and it's this really cool movie." And in like 2010, I think they finally released it, or it's like 2010 or 2012, something like that. Anchor Bay released like a Blu-ray of it, and I just remember there's a lot of talk about it during that time, and also that's when The Hunger Games was big, and I liked The Hunger Games. I read the books, and I remember hearing about this movie Battle Royale and how everyone's like, "Oh, like Hunger Games just ripped off Battle Royale, and like Battle Royale is so much cooler and it's brutal and blah blah blah. And it's banned in the United States and all this stuff." So I was just fascinated. I was like, okay, I need to watch this. So I did, and I just kind of loved it. But it wasn't actually ever banned in the United States, I don't think. What happened was when it came out around the time as Columbine, and they were worried that they're like, this is not a good time to release this movie in the United States. Like, people are not going to be okay with it, so they just didn't, and then they never did. And I think that they were just kind of scared that that if they did, like, it would be banned, because I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's one of those movies. It's kind of like for a long time before it ever really came out in the United States, it was always like this underground, like, hey, have you ever heard of Battle Royale, dude? Like, it was kind of like that sort of thing. But Quentin Tarantino loves this movie, and he said that it's the best film that he had seen in the past 2 decades.
Oh wow,
that's what he said. So I could totally see why he would love this movie. Definitely very, very much the kind of movie that he likes.
It's just so funny. Like, when you search Battle Royale movie, the first, like, the people also ask, the first one is the Hunger Games a ripoff of Battle Royale?
Yeah,
it's funny to see.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of there's so many articles and things I was reading online at the time where I can't remember what the author of The Hunger Games, she claimed that she had never even heard of Battle Royale, blah blah blah. But there's so many people that are like, nah, she's seen it, she ripped it off. I don't know, but
yeah, I think it released in 2012 because I'm reading an article right now that talks about how Battle Royale became a cult hit. Lights on The Hunger Games. That's what they said.
Yeah, it makes sense that they tried to release it around that time, because they're like, wait a second, we already did this. We already made this movie. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's not I don't think it's. You know what? Actually, I take that back. So I've always loved this movie, but I've always kind of thought of it as like, okay, this movie's not that great, but it's really cool, and I really enjoy, like the action and like these kills and just what's going on with these students. But watching it again, I realized, I think that this is a great movie. It's still not like the best movie by any means, but I do think it's really unique, and I haven't really seen anything else like it. And it is
definitely not.
It is a really cool movie, and I do think it did inspire, like, I'm pretty sure the dude that made PUBG, like, I feel like he's he's seen Battle
Oh,
Royale. Like
probably.
even just like how in PUBG, you know, you have like the pot, like there's the pots that you can get. I feel like stuff like that is like a nod to like the pot lid and Battle Royale. Nanahara's weapon that's fantastic. But yeah, it's a cool movie, and it's fun. I remember when we started playing, like, you know, we played Fortnite and PUBG, and I told you, like, dude, you gotta watch Battle Royale, like, watch the movie, dude, it's the same thing. uh, so
No,
it's
like you
fun.
type it in and it says that PUBG was inspired by Battle Royale,
Yeah, of course.
which makes sense just because you're talking about how you can get like the pan, you can get like all these random items and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like just like really random weapons and the whole island aspect. Like, I mean, literally, like everything. It's the same, pretty much, but it's cool.
Oh, that's cool. I guess like there's a book where it has a map of the island and a
Uh,
checklist of the names that you can mark off as they die.
oh, that's
That's
cool.
interesting. Yeah, it was a good movie.
That's
So,
fun.
what did you give the rating again?
I give it a
Okay,
4 out of 5. Yeah,
nice.
yeah, good movie.
Well, and the other movie that we watched this week was Cronos. It's a Mexican independent horror drama film written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's actually his first feature film, and it has Rob Perlman in it, and it also has Federico Lupi. And it's basically like about a movie where it kind of starts off like you can tell it's like way in the past, like in the 1500s. There's this alchemist that develops this mechanism that can give him eternal life. But then, like in 1937, like this building like collapses and it kills the alchemist that developed it by piercing his heart with some debris. And then they go and like they go to this guy's house and they see, you know, all of this like artwork and everything. So they start selling all that stuff off, and then it jumps to the present where this guy Jesus Greece, right?
Something like that. I don't know. Gris.
Gris,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's Jesus Gris. He's
Something like
just basically like a religious antique dealer, and he is like cleaning some stuff with like his granddaughter, and this statue that was actually like in this alchemist uh, room or whatever in the beginning of the movie had like cockroaches coming out of it, and then they realized by opening up like there's this, you know, mechanism, and then the guy like puts it in his hand and he twists like a knob and he starts like realizing, and then it pierces like his hand. And that whole scene, like there's a scene where like his like hand itches and like
that.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
like wrapped up and he's using like a knife to like dig in his hand to like underneath the bandage to like itch it and everything. Like that whole scene was just it was interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, then he starts realizing that he kind of looks a little bit younger, so he shaves his mustache, and his wife thinks he looks sexy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Looking real sexy.
but then it turns into this thing where, you know, he starts like realizing that, you know, he likes the way that he feels. He's younger in a sense, and he starts like using this mechanism like on his chest and like on like other parts of his body. And then like he ends up coming in contact with this guy that is like dying, and Rob Perlman is like his nephew or something, and is trying to like get this mechanism because this guy that's dying, he wants it to live. And so like just like this whole movie is, you know, Jesus Gris just using the machine. And I don't know, it's just it's a very interesting movie. Like what else do you have to like add to it? Like what
Yes.
do you think about it?
I really loved
Yeah.
it. It was really good. I love. It's really strange, and you don't. And I'm glad that you chose this movie because I've been wanting to watch this movie for such a long
HBO
time.
Max.
And I've never seen it. Um, and I love I love Guillermo del Toro, and it's a really interesting take on a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Really, it's just different, and I didn't even really know. I don't think I ever knew. I've always known about this movie. I've read a little bit about it, but I didn't. I don't think I even knew it was really like a vampire movie. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I mean, and I kind of figured like with the blood and stuff, and I was like, okay, something's obviously going to start happening, and especially when you find out from the guy who is dying, he's like, yeah, but like there's this book, like you're supposed to do it, like if you're going to use it, you got to do it a special way, blah blah blah, and you're like, something's going to start happening. And I thought it was really interesting when, I mean, the whole dynamic between him and his granddaughter or whatever.
How she like helps
Like
him
the
and
scene, yeah. Well, and the scene in towards the beginning when he's like he goes out in the middle of the night and he goes down the stairs and he uses it again, and he's just like on the stairs and she's watching and he's like, oh no, I'm okay, and there's something really like just really, I don't know, there's something really, it just feels dirty in a way, like you feel like the way that he's going off to hide and I mean he's on the freaking stairs, but it's just really strange,
like
and
almost
like
like he's
seeing
like doing
like
a
the
drug or
granddaughter.
something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like he becomes addicted to this thing, and it's just really weird for his granddaughter to see it, and she obviously gets worried and she hides it at some point, like in her stuffed animal, because she's like, it's hurting grandpa.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I don't like it, and it's just interesting, and I really like, that it deals with these two guys who are old.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy's like old and dying, and obviously he's he wants to be immortal. And then you have Jesus, who's just this, he's just like this. He's a really nice, just sweet grandpa. He's
Yeah.
like this humble dude, just an antique shop, and he just does the same thing every day, and he has a pretty just normal life. And then he finds this thing, and it just kind of throws his whole life into this whole just kind of crazy adventure. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. I really liked it. I like the pacing of it. It's just very
It
very
was
like
short
slow
too,
and
right?
methodical.
Wasn't it like only like an hour
I
and
think so.
28 minutes or something like that?
Something like that. I don't know exactly how long, but yeah, wasn't very long. I think like an hour 30 something.
Did you like that bathroom scene at like the New Year's Eve party
Yes.
with the blood?
Yes. Oh man.
Because he's like a
He gets
vampire in
down.
a sense, so he's trying to.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to have this urge for blood. And there's this guy that gets like a bloody nose, and he sees it like on the counter of the sink. And this guy comes out of the restroom stall and like cleans it up, and he gets all disappointed. You're like, oh man, what is he gonna do now? And then he sees a little droplet on the ground, and he gets on his knees and he starts just like licking it. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Especially towards the end too, where he gets in that car crash, and like they say that he's dead, but since he's a vampire in a sense, he has to get stabbed through the heart or whatever in order for him to actually die. And so then like his whole character starts changing to like this ghoulish looking person.
Oh yeah, he starts looking gross too, especially that scene when he goes
off his skin.
Yes, when the old dying dude, he's like, peel it off, and he grabs like just a chunk of his face and like rips it off, and it's like just this really like it just looks gross. It looks so gross, but I love that.
That marble looking skin.
Yeah. And I thought it was so funny too that little girl was like with him during so much of this movie.
Oh yeah,
towards the end, like that whole thing where, she helps kill that guy because he was, on top
smacks him in the back of the head.
Jesus, yeah. And then she just kind of stands there and watches him start sucking his blood.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's real bizarre.
And the girl didn't have like any dialogue. She
Dialogue, yeah,
was
she didn't
silent
really
the whole
talk.
time. I thought that was interesting how he did that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy Rob Perlman's character in it. I thought he was pretty funny, especially like that part where he's going and trying to buy the antique thing for his uncle, where he's holding like the little like cards in front of his nose, like asking like
Oh,
which
yeah.
one's right.
Which
I
nose
thought that
you
was
like?
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And then because he keeps getting smacked in the nose or something like that, so I like that scene where he gets hit again. He's like, "Not
Oh,
again."
no. Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, it's funny. I love Ron Perlman. He's great. It's funny. And yeah, it's fun seeing like this is the start of Guillermo del Toro's career really, and then Ron Perlman of course shows up in a lot of his other movies. Like, I mean, obviously Hellboy, which is great. But yeah,
it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I thought
really
the pacing was good, and I agree with what you were saying. So, what would you rate it?
I give this one 4 out of 5 stars
Yeah,
as well.
same.
I really liked it a lot.
I agree.
That was cool. Cool movie.
Awesome. Well, we start those spooky season next week.
Yeah. Well, we sort of started this week.
Yeah, really. I guess. Yeah, that's true.
mean, with Cronos, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, Cronos, it's a vampire movie. Battle Royale is, I mean.
And I watched House, and you watched Babysitter.
Yeah. Yes. And The Brood. Check out The Brood.
I put it on my watch list, so.
Sweet. It's fun.
So what movie are you choosing for your first Halloween movie of October?
Oh, yeah. We're going to watch Suspiria, the original 1977.
Ooh. And where can you
Dario
find that?
Argento. I think this one's on Tubi.
Tubi.
This is one of those movies where I've never seen this. I've seen a few other of Dario Argento's movies before, and this is his most famous one by far. And I've seen a lot of other Italian horror films like Lucio Fulci's.
You've never seen this movie before?
No, I've never seen it. I've only seen the remake, and this is one of those movies where I've never seen it because it's always been kind of, it's been one of those movies that's like hard to get a hold of.
Makes sense.
Like it hasn't always been like the most accessible. I mean, there's been ways to watch it, and I'm sure there's ways to find it online. It's on Tubi right now, and there's been physical releases from Synapse that have always been like expensive. Like there's a like the Blu-ray that's it's expensive, and then it's never been available to like rent, like on iTunes or anything. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch this because I've always wanted to. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it. I really enjoyed the remake, so it'll be cool to watch this. Yeah, it looks really cool. It has an awesome score from Goblin, which I love.
Looking forward to it. The classic. Yeah. What year again?
1977.
Oh, perfect. Goes perfect with those other 1977 films. The one that I chose is The Exorcist. Yeah. Gotta start it off right. Both good movies that we're gonna have this week. And it's gonna get better each week, so. And we'll let you know what they're gonna be, so follow along and enjoy this spooky season with us.
Heck yeah. Do us a favor and give us 5 stars on iTunes. What the heck are you waiting for?
Exactly.
What the heck are you
and follow us on Twitter and YouTube. Do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We got some funny
like,
tweets.
Subscribe, share our stuff. But we appreciate you for listening, and can't wait for next week's episode.
And if TikTok doesn't get banned, then maybe see us on TikTok.
Let's do a TikTok.
Yeah. Awesome.
We should.
Well, we'll see you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.